From this bird boasting the most effective camouflage in the entire animal kingdom, rendering it virtually invisible, to another whose head is adorned with a tie-like appendage, including others like the one that feeds on wasps without getting stung, or another with an impressively long tail, and many more. These are the 15 weirdest birds ever discovered. But before we start, subscribe now before I become famous. Number 15. Patoo. With its massive googly yellow eyes and ridiculously large mouth, the patoo looks like a living cartoon character. Perhaps the patoo's most incredible ability is its talent for camouflage. During the day, it perches upright on tree branches, completely motionless with its eyes closed. Its plumage perfectly matches the bark and lichens of the trees, making the bird nearly invisible. Unique slits in its eyelids allow it to see even with closed eyes. If a predator approaches, the patoo subtly shifts its position to look exactly like a broken-off stump. Equally weird are the patoo's gigantic eyes, which take up much of its head. These massive peepers give the patoo excellent night vision for catching moths, beetles, and other insects on the wing. Its huge mouth acts as a net to snag airborne prey. While plenty of birds have strange calls, the patoos are especially bizarre. Its moans, growls, and shrieks sound eerily human-like. In fact, native South American peoples see the patoo as an omen of death and lost love. Adding to its eccentricities, the patoo doesn't build a nest, instead it lays a single camouflaged egg on top of a broken tree stump. The parents take turns incubating while the other hunts insects to feed the chick. Number 14. Cassowary. This big bird looks like it came straight out of Jurassic Park. With its imposing stature, vibrant blue face, and horned helmet on its head, the cassowary is a sight to behold. But don't let its flamboyant appearance fool you. This is the world's most dangerous bird. The cassowary can stand up to 6 feet tall and weigh up to 150 pounds. That's as heavy as 6 swans. Cassowaries are related to emus and ostriches, and like them, they cannot fly. But while cassowaries lack wings, they make up for it with powerful legs and feet equipped with dagger-like claws. One kick from a cassowary can slice open flesh and disembowel predators, even humans. In fact, cassowaries hold the distinction of being the only birds known to have killed people. Attacks are rare, but when threatened, they will jump up and strike out with their claws, delivering potentially fatal blows. Records show cassowaries attacking over 150 people, including one tragedy in 1926 when a man bled to death after an encounter with the bird. More recently, in 2019, a Florida man was sadly killed by a cassowary he kept on his property. Solitary and wary of humans, cassowaries will go out of their way to avoid contact, but habitat destruction continually throws them into conflict situations. Their primordial appearance is a captivating glimpse back in time, reminding us of the dinosaurs that roamed once where these exotic birds tread today. Number 13. Ribbon-tailed astrapia. Native to the dense rainforests of Papua New Guinea, the male ribbon-tailed astrapia boasts the longest tail feathers relative to its body size of any bird species. These slender white plumes extend up to 3 feet beyond the bird's jet-black body. While elaborate plumage is common among birds of paradise, the disproportionate length of the ribbon-tailed astrapia's tail is extreme. This impractical ornament likely evolved through female selection. Females choose mates with the longest, most pristine tails, thereby passing the trait on to male offspring. But these flowing tails come at a cost, encumbering the bird's agility and exposing their owner to predators. The ribbon-tailed astrapia's freakish tail is also a liability during the rugged storms that pummel its mountain home. High winds could send an astrapia spiraling uncontrollably or throw it violently against vegetation if the tail is caught. Despite the challenges posed by their unwieldy tails, breeding males dutifully grow their flaming white plumes each year. The reward of procreating outweighs the risk of possessing such a disabling ornament. Number 12. Bee-eater bird. What makes this bird truly weird is its diet. It lives up to its name by feasting on stinging insects like bees, wasps, and hornets. The bee-eater has evolved some ingenious techniques to safely consume this dangerous prey. It catches insects mid-flight in its sharp, curved beak, then returns to its perch to remove the sting. The bird repeatedly bashes the insect against a hard surface to discharge the venom before flipping it upwards and swallowing it whole. Different bee-eater species have various adaptations to avoid being stung in their mouths and throats. The European bee-eater has narrow nostril slits which prevent stings from entering its nasal cavity. But bees and wasps make up just part of the bee-eater's diverse diet. These opportunistic predators will gorge on any insect they can catch, including dragonflies, butterflies, and flies. Most bee-eater species are highly social, nesting in large and noisy colonies in tunnels dug into the ground or riverbanks. Their complex cooperative breeding system is among the most sophisticated in the avian world. Helpers assist the breeding pair by incubating eggs, feeding hatchlings, and defending nests. Number 11. Rhinoceros hornbill. This bird is renowned for its massive, colorful beak adorned with an equally elaborate horn on top. The horn, called a casque, is a hollow structure made of keratin that can weigh over 10 ounces, more than 10% of the bird's body weight. This disproportionately large and showy casque gives the rhinoceros hornbill a top-heavy appearance unlike any other bird. When the male is in flight, it produces a loud whooshing sound with each flap. The horn is believed to function as a resonating chamber to amplify the hornbill's territorial calls, which can be heard up to 3 miles away. The male's deafening sound must truly reverberate through the forest thanks to his natural megaphone. When defending their turf, male hornbills may engage in aerial jousting, ramming their tough casques together like dueling knights. This species exhibits extreme sexual dimorphism. Females are up to 30% smaller in size and weight. Their casque is diminutive in comparison to the male's dramatic headpiece. Rhinoceros hornbills form monogamous pairs and use their mighty beaks to wall up nesting cavities in tree trunks. The female seals herself inside, relying on her partner to feed her through a small slit during incubation. After months of this reclusive period, the female breaks out once the chicks are grown. Number 10. Spoonbill. With its spatula-shaped bill that's wider at the tip, the spoonbill looks like no other bird. This strange flat bill allows the spoonbill to sweep through shallow water, snapping up small fish, frogs, and insects with quick sideways motions. Though easy to spot in its bright pink breeding plumage, the spoonbill was nearly hunted to extinction in the 19th century for its decorative feathers. Their eyes are perfectly positioned for excellent binocular vision to spot prey swirling in the water below. While foraging, spoonbills swing their heads from side to side in a constant scanning motion. With each swipe of its bill, a spoonbill feels for the touch of potential food. The slightest brush against a minnow or shrimp triggers the spoonbill's bill to snap shut around the morsel. Young spoonbills hatch with pale, straight bills. Only as they mature over 2 to 3 years do they gain the adult's vibrant colors and unique spoon-shaped bill. Number 9. Blue-footed booby. Its feet can range from a pale turquoise to a deep aquamarine, looking as if they were painted on. This is because of pigments obtained from the bird's fish diet, which are concentrated in its feet. Males flaunt their feet to attract mates, strutting and lifting them up and down. Their mating dance also involves sky pointing, tilting their beaks up and spreading their wings and tail. Another peculiar behavior is how blue-footed booby parents allow their eldest chick to end with its younger siblings. When food is scarce, the older chick attacks the younger one by pecking at it or shoving it from the nest. The parents passively watch their battle, doing nothing to intervene. This ruthless survival tactic lets the parents devote their resources to raising just one chick. Diving from heights up to 100 feet to catch prey like sardines and anchovies, the blue-footed booby hits the water at 60 miles per hour. Air sacs in its head protect its brain from the impact. Though awkward on land, boobies are speedy and agile in the air and underwater. Their bright blue feet play a key role in mating, but are rather useless for perching or walking. Number 8. Pelican. The pelican is one weird bird. This large water bird has a massive bill and throat pouch that allows it to scoop up fish and drain the water before swallowing its prey. The pouch can hold up to 3 gallons of water, over 3 times the capacity of its stomach. But the weirdest part is how some pelicans catch their food. The brown pelican and Peruvian pelican don't just scoop up fish from the surface. Instead, they spectacularly plunge dive from heights of up to 60 feet, crashing into the water beak first to snatch fish in their oversized bills. They have air sacs under their skin to cushion the impact. After the plunge, they surface and drain the water before gulping down the fish. The American white pelican grows a weird horn on its upper bill during mating season. This horn then falls off when breeding ends. The large size of pelicans is also odd. They can have wingspans over 11 feet wide and can weigh over 30 pounds, making them one of the heaviest flying birds. The Australian pelican has the longest bill of any bird, up to 18 inches long. Pelicans are very social and often feed cooperatively, herding fish into shallow waters to more easily scoop them up. Though their huge gullets can hold far more fish than their stomachs can, they don't actually store fish in their pouches for long periods. Overall, with their huge bills, plunge diving habits, temporary horns, massive size, and extremely stretchy throat pouches, pelicans are some of the weirdest birds around. Number 7. Flamingo. Flamingos aren't born pink. Their gray baby fuzz only turns pink after they start eating a diet rich in carotenoids. These organic pigments impart the pink, orange, and red colors in plants and algae. A flamingo's feeding habits are bizarre too. They dunk their heads upside down to filter feed, using their specialized beaks to strain tasty shrimp and plankton from the water. One of the strangest flamingo facts relates to how they feed their chicks. Both male and female flamingos produce a red milk-like substance called crop milk in their digestive systems. They regurgitate this nutritious fluid into their babies' mouths. The carotenoids in crop milk are so concentrated that by the end of breeding season, parent flamingos are often left a faded white color. Flamingos form large flocks called flamboyances and perform elaborate mating dances to attract partners. Their legs are not bent backwards. The ankle joint that looks like a knee is perfectly normal. Flamingos are also known for their one-legged resting stance, which they can hold for hours without straining their muscles. Number 6. The mandarin duck. Native to East Asia, the fantastically colorful plumage of the male mandarin duck surely ranks it among the most beautiful birds on Earth, but it's the extreme difference between the appearance of the male and female that makes this species seem so peculiar. The male mandarin boasts a red bill, purple breast decorated with 2 vertical white bars, orange sails on its back, and a spiked crest of blue, teal, copper, and black. His flank feathers are a rich, ruddy brown. The female, on the other hand, is rather plain. Her plumage is a modest gray-brown with a thin white stripe on the flanks and a pale ring around the eyes. Only the tips of her wings sport a splash of color. During the summertime molting period, the male actually resembles the female, losing his ornamentation and taking on her subdued gray-brown tones. His brilliant red bill remains the telltale clue to his true identity. Adding to the strangeness of this duck is the behavior of the duckling. The female lays eggs high in a tree cavity, but once hatched, the tiny ducklings fling themselves out of the nest, free-falling 30 feet or more and landing unharmed on the ground below. The mother calls to them from the base of the tree, then leads them to water. Number 5. Superb bird of paradise. The superb bird of paradise is one of the weirdest birds on Earth due to its bizarre appearance and elaborate mating rituals. Native to the rainforests of New Guinea, the males of this species have jet black feathers that absorb 99.95% of light. When trying to attract a female, they fan out their feather capes to form an oval shape. Against this inky black background, neon blue feathers on the bird's chest and crown create the illusion of a bright blue smiley face looking at the female. As if this psychedelic display wasn't weird enough, the male then performs an eccentric dance, rapidly hopping and snapping his tail feathers like fingers. He circles around the skeptical female for hours, putting on quite a show. Females typically reject 15 to 20 males before selecting a mate. Adding to the bird's eccentricities, males take 4 to 7 years longer than females to reach sexual maturity. They spend all this time growing elaborate feathers for their mating routine. Females build nests alone high up in the rainforest trees where they lay just 1 to 3 eggs. Number 4. Frigate bird. This seabird is mostly known for its remarkable flying abilities, being able to stay airborne for months at a time without landing. But it has some other quirky features as well. During breeding season, the male frigate bird inflates a large, bright red pouch on its throat to attract females. This balloon-like gular pouch can blow up to the size of a bird's head. Once inflated, the male frigate bird waves his head from side to side to show off this weird red balloon, hoping to impress the females. Frigate birds are also unusual in that they cannot land on water. Their feathers are not waterproof, so if they get wet, they become waterlogged and can't take off. Their legs are short and their feet are webbed, making them clumsy on land, so these birds face the challenging task of feeding at sea while avoiding touching down on the water's surface. To manage this, frigate birds have evolved some sneaky fishing strategies. They're masterful at swooping down to snatch fish as they break the surface. Frigate birds will also ruthlessly harass other birds to force them into dropping their catch, which the frigate bird then steals. Number 3. Woodpecker. With their unique ability to smash their beaks repeatedly into solid wood without sustaining brain damage, woodpeckers are truly bizarre birds. These birds use their bills to drill into tree trunks searching for insects, create nesting holes, and establish territories. A woodpecker can strike a tree thousands of times per day with a force 1,000 times the force of gravity, decelerating from roughly 7 to 0 miles per hour in just 1 millisecond on impact. This equals the impact a human would experience in a 31-mile-per-hour car crash. Yet somehow the woodpecker avoids concussion or permanent brain damage. Scientists once thought their unusual anatomy protected them with shock-absorbing adaptations like tongues that wrap around their skull and plate-like bones in the forehead. However, high-speed video reveals woodpeckers experience the full brunt of each strike. Their small size and short contact times simply do not generate damaging impact forces. Additional strange woodpecker abilities help them thrive. They have 2 toes pointing upwards and 2 pointing backward to better grip vertical surfaces. Sticky tongues up to 4 inches long grab insects deep inside tree holes, and woodpeckers have built-in safety goggles in the form of a thick inner eyelid that closes milliseconds before impact. Beyond their anatomical quirks, woodpeckers display unusual behaviors. They communicate by drumming beaks on resonant objects with unique rhythms identifying each species. Sapsuckers drill orderly rows of holes in healthy trees to access sap, while acorn woodpeckers hoard nuts in granary trees. Camouflickers and gilded woodpeckers nest in termite mounds or cacti when trees are scarce. Whether drilling eternally without brain damage or displaying odd adaptations and habits, the woodpecker certainly deserves its spot among the weirdest birds. Number 2. Bowerbird. The bowerbird's courting behavior is one of the strangest in the animal kingdom. To attract a mate, the male bowerbird builds an elaborate bower structure and decorates it with brightly colored objects. Some bowers have thousands of objects collected by the male, from feathers and flowers to coins, plastic items, and even discarded glass and toys scavenged from human litter. Different species have different architectural styles. Satin bowerbirds make an avenue-type bower with 2 parallel walls of sticks. Great bowerbirds build a maypole structure with sticks arranged in a cone around a sapling. Tooth-billed bowerbirds groom a display court on the forest floor and place big leaves upside down. The male satin bowerbird may even use chewed plant matter as paint to color the bower walls. The male spends hours obsessing over his bower, rearranging the objects, replacing faded decorations with fresh ones, and keeping the sticks neatly woven. Some bowers are reused for over 30 years. When a female approaches, the male performs an elaborate dance while waving items in his beak. If she enters the bower, it means she consents to mate. After mating, the female leaves to build her own nest and raise the chicks alone while the male continues to work on his bachelor pad. Some males mate with up to 25 females in one breeding session. Competition is fierce though, and males will actually raid each other's bowers and steal decorations. Number 1. Long-wattled umbrella bird. This strange-looking bird inhabits the rainforests of Colombia and Ecuador. What makes the long-wattled umbrella bird so bizarre is the large inflatable wattle hanging from its neck that resembles a wrinkly black tie. This wattle can grow over 13 inches long. It hangs down from the bird's throat and sways back and forth when it moves around. The wattle's covered in short, scaly black feathers. When displaying during mating season, the male umbrella bird fans out the wattle to its full length and inflates it so that it sticks straight out. At the same time, the male spreads out the crest on top of its head so it looks like a black umbrella covering its entire bill. The bird grunts and makes rumbling sounds to attract females. After selecting a male, the female builds a nest high up in a tree fork up to 20 feet above the ground. This helps protect the nest from predators looking for eggs on the forest floor. The flight of the umbrella bird is slow and clumsy due to its large size. It prefers hopping between branches rather than flying. And when it does fly, it holds the neck wattle flattened against its body. The long-wattled umbrella bird lives only in a small region of rainforest, and its numbers are decreasing due to deforestation. Its showy displays at mating areas make it easy hunting prey. By the way, did you know there's a fish with wings that can't fly? In contrast, another fish also has wings but can actually fly. You want to see the world's most extraordinary fish? Check out this video. 15 weirdest fish ever discovered.